Yo, what's up guys? We're on BVI, the British Virgin Islands, and the British Virgin Islands are made up of 50 different islands. Right now we are on the biggest one, Tortola. Both the US and the British Virgin Islands were named by our favorite colonizer, of course, Christopher Columbus. But why did he give them the name the Virgin Islands? Well, the Virgin Islands were actually named in honor of the story of Saint Ursula and the 11,000 virgins. Now, if you don't know the story, in short, Ursula was the daughter of a Christian king who was going to get married to a pagan prince. Some stories claim that she gave her life to God and she wanted to remain a virgin for as long as possible. And before she got married, she wanted to delay the marriage by going on a pilgrimage. So she, along with 11,000 virgins, went on a 3-year pilgrimage, sailing across the world to Rome and visited the Pope. But on their way back, they actually got swept off course and ended up in Cologne, Germany, where they came in contact with the Huns, whose leader was Attila the Hun. And he wanted them to renounce their Christianity, which they didn't do, and they were ultimately killed, therefore making them martyrs. The cool story, but the only thing about that story is that it's not true. First of all, there are a bunch of different versions to the story, and the only thing that the different versions could agree on is that there were a bunch of women that were killed by the Huns in Germany. But in terms of the main character being Ursula, nobody knows why that came to prominence. Different versions have different main characters. Also the number, the 11,000. Some stories have 11, some says 11,000, some says 10,000. And apparently this was a misinterpretation of the Roman numerals. That's how the 11 turned into 11,000. Even archaeologists excavated a burial site where they thought that the relics of these 11,000 women were. And it was found to not only be the bones of women, but they found the bones of women, children, men, even some other animals, which led them to believe that it was just a random burial site and not the actual spot where these women were killed. Even the Pope that they claim to have met, Pope Syriacus, there's no historical record that shows that that Pope ever existed. And because this story has so many inaccuracies, the Vatican actually removed Saint Ursula from the general Roman calendar. And the funny thing about it is that even though the story of Ursula was mostly fabricated, she still had churches built in her name. She had devotees in the form of nuns who went around Europe building schools for the education of girls. And of course she had these islands named after her and her story. So there was a lot of positive things. So does it matter if the story was 100% true? I don't know, but I think that's a problem that a lot of people also have with the Bible in terms of, yeah, the Bible has a lot of historically accurate people and place names. A lot of things are questionable in terms of the narratives and the details of the stories involved because they were filled in over time by different people. Things would have been lost in translation. How do we know which things do we take literally and which things should we take figuratively? Was Mary Magdalene actually one of the disciples? Did she and Jesus